All right, so this is number 1 on 2.4a. And so what we need to do is we are looking for the other endpoint. So let's just label what we know. So this is an endpoint, and so we can say that this is x1, y1. And we know that this is the midpoint, so we can call this the x part of the midpoint and the y part of the midpoint. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our midpoint formula, and we are going to plug in what we know. So right now we know x1, and we know the x midpoint. So let's plug those in. So we plugged those in. What I did is I took this here and plugged it in there. And we took the x midpoint and we plugged it in for the midpoint. So now what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and solve for x2. And so we need to get x2 alone on one side of the equal sign. We're going to multiply both sides by 2. So 2 divided by 2 cancels out. And then 2 times 3 gives us 6 equals -4 plus x2. And now we're going to add 4 to both sides, and -4 and +4 cancel out, leaves us with just x2, and then 6 plus 4 is 10. So now let's do this again with the y's. So we know the y midpoint is going to equal y1 plus y2 all over 2. And let's plug in what we know. We know y1 here, and we know the y midpoint here. So let's plug in what we know. Okay, so we plugged in what we knew, and what we knew was one of the endpoints, our x1, and we knew the midpoint. So we plugged those in. Now we're going to solve for y2. So we want to get y2 alone on one side of the equal sign. So again, we're going to multiply this by 2 to get rid of this. 2 divided by 2 cancels out. But what I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. 2 times 5 gives us 10. And that's going to equal, what I have left up here is just 3 plus y2. So then we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. We're going to get rid of this plus 3. So 3 minus 3 cancels out. And then 10 minus 3 gives us 7. So our final answer, our other endpoint, our x2 and y2, that's going to equal 10, 7. That's our other endpoint.